All right, everybody. It's that time again. It's time for the MMA Mainstream Podcast. I'm James, of course, with my co-host Kaelyn. Kaelyn, how you doing?
Good. It's another good
There
Sunday.
we go.
Weekend full of good fights.
Yes, crazy fights. Good times. Good
Yeah.
times. We have Ethan Ryder joining us. Ethan, how you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good,
Pretty
good.
good.
You have a fight coming up on March 4th at Valley Fight Series in Hanford. And we talked to you before your debut. You've already had a fight. You won. You're 1-0 right now. How's training going for this upcoming bout?
Training's going pretty good. One of the things that I am doing different this training, I've been doing a lot more sparring, like hard sparring, and a lot more boxing. Because being a wrestler, I get annoyed when I box sometimes, especially someone that's good. I'm like, I wish I could just take you down. But it's something that I need to do. So I've been doing that a lot. And obviously I've been training at the college to, keep wrestling, I guess, to keep that up. So I've been trying to balance everything out, keep everything sharp.
Because you do also
feel more comfortable.
Yeah, especially on my feet. I need to get a little bit more comfortable just being in the firefights and stuff like that. That's why I've been sparring a lot more. But for wrestling, like on the ground, everything, I feel comfortable on the ground. I like being on the ground. But obviously, every fight starts standing up. So
now, when you were in, I didn't get a chance to see that fight. How did you feel being in that fight? I mean, you won by, I believe, decision.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, were you able to get out some jitters? What was going through your head being involved in that first bout?
So at first, I was a little nervous because, well, if you've seen Braxton's pretty built. He's built kind of scary. So obviously, I'm not gonna say that before I fight him, but he's built like brick house. That dude is massive. And I was like, because the way he approached the fight, he was winging overhands and he was trying to catch me coming in, and that gets a little nervous. Like it scares me as a fighter because I don't want to get knocked out in front of everybody that I just sold tickets to. But
understandable. Once
I got hit, I was like, it hurt for like a couple seconds. And I'm like, oh, it's not that bad. So I was able to engage, and I used a lot of double underhooks in that fight, and I would press him up against the cage because I feel like off the cage I'm pretty good at getting a takedown. So I would use the double unders, and once I got comfortable in there, I kind of ended up taking controls with a lot of the tie-ups. And I think one thing...
So how long ago...
Uh-oh. All right. Well, Kaelyn is dipping in and out, so I'll have to work on that. Now, when you were going against him and you would use your double underhooks, at a certain point you started to feel like you were able to take control easier.
Yeah, I felt like...
Did you expect that, or did you expect a ton of resistance?
Once I got close to him and I was able to start actually grappling, I felt like I'd be fine. But it was just getting to that part that was nervous for me, especially because I wasn't comfortable on my feet yet and things like that. But once I was able to get it to where I wanted to be, which is rolling on the mat, basically, once I have a hold of you, I feel really comfortable.
All right, Kaelyn, let's try that again.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I'm good then. Because you guys were freezing, and I was like, man, I don't know what's going on.
Okay, you were freezing on our end. You were talking to Ethan. It's not like you were going to ask him a question, and unfortunately, it didn't come out froze.
No, I asked how long ago was that last fight of yours?
I think exactly. No.
It was in
10
May.
months. So yeah, 10 months, I think.
Oh, okay. So since then, you said you've been doing a lot more sparring. Do you feel do you feel like you have a better grip on that? And do you feel better about going into your next fight with what you've done so far in between now and that last fight?
I think so. I think my striking's improved a lot, but I think what I've really improved upon is not being scared to get hit. I'm not nervous to actually stand in the pocket and exchange anymore, which will set my wrestling up, I think, a lot better.
Oh, gotcha. And how long have you been? We probably already talked about this on last one, but how long have you been wrestling for? Since that's your specialty.
Let's see, 7 years now, because I started in high school, and this is I just finished my 3rd year of college wrestling.
Oh, okay.
He's still doing that. He's still being in college. He's still wrestling. How is that? Like, you have wrestling season, you're in school, but then you're like, you know what? I'm gonna fight. Like,
that's a whole other thing right there.
Yeah,
that's a
so
huge
when you're in season, I take it you're just in season. You don't focus besides school. It's just school and wrestling.
Yeah.
Like, why is it okay? How did you decide you're just like, you know what? I want to fight too. Why not?
Because I was always gonna fight ever since I was little. So the way I got into college wrestling is, at first I didn't even think I was gonna be able to, do anything in high school, because I didn't have the best grades in high school, especially my freshman year. And then some stuff happened. I lived with my grandma. My grades got a little bit better, but I never really expected to do anything with wrestling that big. And then because my freshman year I went like 5-18 on JV, but my sophomore year, when I moved schools and I had a different head coach, I went like 30-20, I want to say, or something like that. And I qualified for the state tournament, and I was like, maybe this is my way to get into college, So my junior year is the year that I ended up doing really good. I went 60-4, and I was a state runner-up for in Arizona for Division II. And my senior year too, I think my senior year I went like 33-4 or something like that. I ended up taking 5th that year. I didn't wrestle as good at state, but doing good there. And I was just kind of like, all right, I guess I'm gonna wrestle in college. But my plan A was always to fight. I was just wrestling in high school because it's free, and I didn't have money, and I couldn't train anywhere for like anything else.
Well, that paid off though, because MMA, you need all that, if anything, especially, striking is very important. But, you always see these guys come up with just wrestling backgrounds taking on a striker. And we all seen what happens there, Khabib, for instance, I think they're all important. Striking is very important, but I feel like a good base is wrestling or jiu-jitsu, and then learn your striking to top it off. It's hard. I feel like it's hard to be a really good striker, never wrestled, and then try to pick up wrestling. I don't know. I just kind of see it that way, or I would assume it's that way, just because I've seen good wrestlers excel in striking. I've never seen, you never really see those really good strikers all of a sudden become a wrestler. Like, I never see that. So I think
I agree with that.
Yeah, I think having really good wrestling base before, I think you have all the opportunity there, or you could just wrestle,
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you do this past season?
What was my record? I think my official record was like 24-13. Gotcha. I won a bunch of ranked matches, and I'd be kind of off and on sometimes, which I want to work on getting better at anyways. It's one of the things. Sometimes my confidence takes a hit a little bit and I start slumping, but other times I would just go out there and wrestle really, really well. So I ended up qualifying for the state tournament, and actually that's a crazy story, because the way we did it is this year it was top 8, and I ended up losing before the top 8 match, so I had to battle back for true 9th place. So what they did is, at the tournament, they voted if they're gonna do a true 8th place match or not. And when they voted for it at the tournament, they said, yeah, we'll do the true 8th place match. I wrestled the true 8th place match. I won like 11-3 or something like that. And what happened was the next week I get a call in the middle of the week from my coach, and he basically tells me that the North voted to not honor the true 8th place matches.
How does that
So
work?
What?
I don't even know. They held a big vote by themselves, and they said, we're not going to honor those matches. So what ends up happening is I go in as an alternate expecting not to wrestle. Some kid pulled out with an injury, and I ended up wrestling anyways at the tournament.
Oh, okay. Well,
Which I feel like I qualified anyways. So, I'm a qualifier. I beat that guy pretty bad. So I ended up wrestling at the tournament. I had the 1 seed in my first match because of that whole thing. I lost 3-6. Then I'm in the wrestlebacks. I beat the guy from the North who took 5th. And then I lost in the blood rounds to the guy who ended up taking 3rd. And pretty my last match I could have wrestled a little bit better. But during that match I got my teeth destroyed.
Ooh.
So
oh
I
no.
had 3 chipped teeth on this side and another one on this side.
How did that happen?
Now I'm gonna get you a sponsor, and it's gonna be a mouth guard.
It's funny because when I went to the MMA gym too, they asked me if they're like, you want to wear your mouth guard? I was like, no, we never wear those in wrestling. Hey, mouth guard.
Oh, maybe
But-
now you want to.
Probably would have saved me.
It's funny because I wrestled a little bit. Like when I say a little bit, I meant 1 season in junior high, really. And I didn't wear a mouth guard either, so I completely get it.
Oh man.
But then once I started doing jujitsu, I didn't wear a mouth guard, and I was like, I should probably start wearing a mouth guard.
Well, that's one thing that I've always found weird. I don't understand why. Well, I get why people wear mouth guards. That's not what I don't understand. What I don't understand is why wrestling, which is like a grr sport, doesn't wear mouth guards, but then jiu-jitsu, which is usually, depending on who you're going against, but usually it's flow rolling and stuff. All those guys wear mouth guards, just about.
Yeah, and I think people wear mouth guards also to work on their breathing also. You know, you wanna
Yes,
get
that's a good
comfortable with
point.
that in your mouth because I did I do amateur Muay Thai, and for a while we just started putting our mouthpiece in, just hitting pads or do anything, bag work, whatever. Put your mouthpiece in, get really comfortable with it. You learn how to breathe with it, and it improves your cardio a little bit. But it almost becomes a part of you. I know it's easy to just walk in there and forget it, but once we started wearing it, it's like, okay, something's missing. Like if you forgot it, and then before you know it, you're sparring. You're like, oh shit, hold on, I don't have my mouth guard. But yeah, I remember doing that, and that helped. Just put it in anyway. A lot of people don't wear one, and then once they do, they're like, man, it's like a whole new world.
Yeah, I kind of get that.
Now, Ethan, how far out of season did you accept the fight, or did you accept the fight while in season, and then as soon as wrestling was up, you started training? Because your fight's coming up in March, so we're about a month out.
I think so. I told my coach I was gonna fight before season ended, but he didn't tell me when I was gonna fight till a month ago, 2 months ago. So 2 months ago, he told me when I was gonna fight, which was in March, because I told him I wanted to fight in March. Because originally I was gonna fight at the end of January, but I didn't really. One, I didn't feel like I had enough time personally to get ready for end of January to get back in the flow of striking and things like that. But also one of my teammates who I like fighting on the same card with, because he's my college wrestling teammate and things like that, he wasn't gonna fight on that card. So I was like, let's just wait till March. So we can both fight on the same card, and we both have more time to prepare.
Yeah, how do you balance all that? Because fighting could take up your whole life if you let it. Especially if you want to go pro and all that. That's your life, and even if that's your life, and you still got to work a full-time job, eventually, and trying to balance both of those. How are you able to balance your wrestling and the MMA?
Well, I think one of the biggest things that helps me is I take online classes, so I just do them at my own time. So,
Yeah.
so maybe it'll be like 10 p.m. I'm like, okay, I did all my training, I did my wrestling, I did my fighting or training in the morning for MMA. I'm like, okay, time to do my classes. And then I go to sleep.
That
So-
sounds exhausting still, but
Yeah, physically fried, and then you're like, all right, now let's fry my mind.
yeah.
Well, I stay active. I mean, I like doing it. I don't really feel burned out from it because it's exciting to me. So, like, I have fun doing it.
So I imagine wrestling, you're always cutting weight to an extent. How does that go for you now? Do you really have to plan everything out, or are you already pretty much ready to go with weight?
I could make my weight class tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
I don't walk around heavy at all. So for the last fight, which was at bantamweight, I weighed in at 131. I
Oh,
just showed up on the scale and stepped on.
do you feel like some of those guys are bigger than you?
The guy I fought, Braxton, he weighed in at 38.
Oh shit.
So, yeah. So, and he was cutting, I could tell.
Oh
but-
wow.
The guy I'm trying to fight next too, he's just tall. I mean, I don't know how much big he probably is bigger than me. He probably walks around heavier than I do, but that doesn't really bother me. Everybody I wrestle walks around heavier than me, so I
Would
just
you
get used to
ever
it.
cut weight to go to a weight class so you could be the bigger guy?
I can't. not in wrestling because I already wrestle 125, which is
Well,
the lowest
in
weight class.
MMA.
In MMA, I guess I guess in some promotions they do have straw weight, which is 115. I would never make 115.
Oh god.
I think
that'd
major
be weird.
promotions, because I walk around pretty lean because I work around year round.
Ah,
So even though I don't cut weight, I'm still pretty lean. I couldn't make 115 again, even if I tried. Maybe
Yeah,
there's
that's
like
rough.
catch weight 120 pound, but what's the point of doing that if the point is to get ready for maybe eventually get signing to a major promotion, which the lowest weights to all of those are 125 anyways. Even 1FC
Yeah.
with their straw weight division is still 125 because they do the 10 pounds plus.
Oh, their straw weight is 125.
Yeah, because they do 10 pounds plus. So Demetrius Johnson, who's
Oh,
fighting at flyweight, is actually fighting at 135
all
because
right.
you have to be
oh
hydrated.
wow. Okay.
'Cause
That's
they do-
strange.
Yeah, they do hydrated weigh-ins.
Yes.
So if you don't
yeah.
pass the hydration test, but that's why they added the 10 pounds.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Oh,
That
okay.
actually makes a lot of sense.
It makes more sense now, rather than
Yeah.
just having them get tested a bunch of times, like
Right.
how
Yeah,
weight a bunch of times. Okay. Oh,
that's
okay.
why Adriano Moraes looks so huge compared to Demetrius Johnson, because he probably is a lot bigger
Yeah,
than
he is, yeah.
Demetrius Johnson.
Oh man, that makes
But
so
it does
much
make sense of being hydrated because there are a lot of fighters that, I mean, when
Yeah.
guys cut weight, they do dehydrate themselves severely,
Yeah.
and it really can hinder the performance. So that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And do you plan on, I mean, obviously, probably, you plan on staying at that weight? That's what you want? You don't have plans to bulk up any or go bigger? This is kind of your plan to stay at 135?
Not 35. So for bantamweight, I took that fight just because I needed a fight and nobody was going to fight me at the time. I think I had 3 different opponents drop out. That's why I didn't fight in March, because I was supposed to fight in March that year. But
Oh.
I had like 3 guys drop out, and I ended up doing that jiu-jitsu tournament on short notice. So I was like, I'll fight anywhere between 25 and 35. Braxton accepted the fight, and that's how we ended up fighting. But
Oh, okay.
personally, I would rather just stay at 25 because, again, I stepped on a scale. Basically, I just showed up, weighed in at 131.
Okay.
So
And then you went and had a burger. No, I don't know. Now, have you checked any footage on the guy you're fighting?
So
he has one
fight. He's 1-0. He fought at 559, and he's not bad. He's good. Like from what I saw, he has pretty good striking. He's tall. He's 5'9", fighting at flyweight, which is pretty tall.
Oh,
That's
Wow.
super tall.
Yeah,
That guy's thick.
yeah, he is really tall. He's like Deshaun O'Malley of the flyweight division.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Wow.
the guy he fought, it was funny. It was a funny fight because the guy he fought was supposedly, according to the Tapology page or whatever, the Camo page, was 4'10". So it's a pretty interesting fight. But he has good footwork.
Wow.
He knows how to keep his range, his distance. And he actually had some pretty decent grappling. He had some good grappling exchanges in that fight, too. He had one where he suplexed him in the second round, and a guy went flying. It was crazy. It was a fun fight to watch.
You're a wrestler. I think you're going to be pretty prepared for that.
I should be. I don't want to speak like... I don't want to jinx myself.
I understand. That makes perfect sense.
But yeah, he was dominant in the fight I watched. So he's pretty good. I think he fights out of Elite. It's one of those gyms in Fresno. Art.
Pick one, man. There's a ton of them.
Yeah.
There is now.
Art of something.
Art of 8.
Art of Violence, I think. I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. But yeah, fights out of one of those.
Well, Ethan, is there anywhere that people can look out for you on social, like Instagram, Facebook, what have you?
Yeah. So on Facebook, my Facebook's just my name, Ethan Ryder. It's spelled like that, so it's pretty easy to find just because of how my name is spelled.
Yeah.
And then same thing on Instagram. It's just Ethan J. Ryder, which is, again, once you look it up, you'll see it because I don't think anybody ever spells their name like how mine is spelled.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. That's different.
Yeah.
And, is there anybody you want to shout out?
I want to shout out my gym, One Nation, my college wrestling team, Bakersfield College, and shout out my wrestling team that I coach, Shafter. Coach Shafter High School team. Shout those guys out. Also shout out youth team. Just everybody that supports me, my family, my friends. I think that's
All right.
it.
Well, thanks, Ethan, for coming on. We appreciate it. You can catch Ethan Ryder fighting in Valley Fight Series March 4th in Hanford. So we will hear more about that as the fight comes up because we're about a month out. So they should be promoting that pretty quick on their social. So we look forward to it, and we look forward to catching up with you, after the fact, man. So, stay healthy. I mean, it's not like you really have to cut weight. So we appreciate the time, and we'll talk to you later.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye.
See ya. All right. That was cool. Look forward to that, especially because finding out he doesn't have to cut weight.
Yeah.
I'm a big guy. I have to cut weight for anything. I don't fight, so I don't do jiu-jitsu really. So I don't have to cut weight for anything, but still
it's funny. It's like my first fight, I had to gain weight.
So did you step on the scale with a bag of Cheetos?
No, I chugged like 3 Gatorades before I got on the scale for my first fight.
Jeez, I just chug 3 Gatorades to stay hydrated.
Well, I do that now. Things are very different now. Going from like the first fight, I had to gain like a few pounds. And then the next one, I was a little worried, but still made it. And then the others following that one, it's a struggle. Just the next one will be a huge struggle, and I'm working on it now. So maybe it won't be that bad.
We look forward to that because we've talked about you fighting before, so going through the process is going to be interesting.
Yeah, where I'm at now is just getting weight off. So as soon as I'm comfortable enough, because I got like 25 pounds to lose, legit pounds to lose before cutting weight. So once I get to that part, then I'll throw my name in there, see what happens. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now, and it's a struggle.
I bet life's a struggle.
Oh man, the times have changed. Gosh, all the weight struggles are just so crazy. When you get a little bit older, having to, I could fight in a higher weight class. I don't think it's healthy for me to keep getting bigger. I have weight to lose, so
unless you're like super strong.
So the thing is I've bumped up a couple weight classes just because of that, which is good, which is not bad. That's muscle weight, but I've got to cut other weight.
Understood.
So,
We got AJ Perez commenting. I gotta lose about 80. Ding. Oh man,
oh gosh.
I don't envy any of you fighters. Like, I'm just glad I'm a fan.
Man. Obviously things are way easier when you're younger. Losing weight's not a big deal. You just have to be disciplined a little bit. And now when you're older, for whatever reason, it just hurts that much more when you get older. Makes you think, do I really want to do this?
We're going to transition a little bit, talking about AJ Perez, who just fought this past Friday.
Yes,
you were live at the fights.
Yes, I was.
Well, tell us what happened. Tell us your thoughts.
Yeah. So, man, it was so crazy. Just in general, being there again.
Okay, hold on. Now, from what I could see, where they were having it, it wasn't in the bingo hall, was it?
Okay, I haven't even been out there in forever. So
they built an entertainment venue, so that's why.
Right. So this was just another building off to the side, really, in the back.
Oh, okay.
Not a part of the casino. It's not a part of the casino. It's all right. Basically, it's just another building. It's not fancy. I'll say that it's not very.
Hey, it's better than when people would fight outside. That sucked, especially when it was hot. That mat.
I never seen any outside. I've never seen any.
But I felt bad.
I've never went to one that's outside. I kind of always wanted to back then. Now I'm like, oh man, how terrible it is for those fighters too. Like depending, summertime, it's already hot. Like, and then when it gets closer to being winter, it's like you're chilly. It's like, oh, I don't know. It was hot in the building though, that's for sure. No, so it was mostly floor seating. There's a set of bleachers that we were sitting in, which was better because it's elevated, because I feel like everyone in the chair is like, if you have someone in front of you, no bueno.
If someone tall in front of you, you're screwed.
A little bit, or if they don't want to sit down, it's like, ugh, man. But so that wasn't bad. They did the Hall of Fame inductees, which was Doug Marshall, Poppies Martinez, and someone else I'm forgetting. Uriah Faber, yeah, duh. I think that was it.
Yeah,
I think. But you know what really sucked is their audio. For people that were there live, could not hear a word that they were saying, mostly because they're catering to Fight Pass, so that their audio would be. And I don't know. I don't know how all that stuff works. I didn't know that you had to pick one or the other. Like, are your audience going to hear you, or is the TV going to hear you? I don't know. So it's almost like their microphone wasn't even on, but I'm sure on TV it sounded great. So that was annoying. But the fights were good. We got there. I think we caught the last prelim fight, and then the main card started at 7-ish. I think 7. Some pretty good fights. Most memorable was the two that I went to go watch was Kaelyn and Perez, and Art Arcienega against I don't remember his opponent's name. I think it was Sergio.
Yeah, Sergio Quinones.
Right. Hands down the best fight. I mean, there was a couple other finishes, but obviously the knockout of Kaelyn was very exciting. So, and that was fast too. That was really fast. Man, he's a dog. Perez is a dog, dude.
I'm convinced.
He was like, he was in there. He was not messing around. He went in there, got the job done quick. And I always felt bad for Kaelyn because I'm like, man, I feel like he was trying to take it not slow, but trying to figure things out for a bit. And then
kind of warm up.
No, we're gonna end it now.
I got stuff to do. I gotta go.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, if you weren't paying attention, you would have missed it. It's fucking crazy. It was great. So congrats to him. That was exciting. Made me happy because we've talked to him a couple times. So, man, he's doing great. I wonder what's next for him. maybe he can come back on so we can talk about it. But good job, AJ Perez. Arsenega did great. It was a pure boxing match, surprisingly.
Which really works on his boxing, I've seen.
Oh God, you could tell. I even said, like, man, he's never actually looked better with his striking than I saw that night. So, and I think everyone was waiting for a takedown. Never happened. Didn't have to. Great boxing. The crowd was pissed that Art won, I think, because they were going for their guy.
Sergio's the homegrown. He's from
there.
So
yeah. Even he was pissed and whatever, man. He did great. So it was just so nostalgic to be there again, let alone watching Art fight again. It's been
It's been a while.
It's been so yeah, we were all sitting there. I'm like, man, how long has it been? It's been about like at least 10 years, like since this was really going on, It was great sitting with like all my old friends that I used to go out there. And it was just like us about 10 years older, 10 to 12 years older than what it was before.
I'm bummed that I couldn't be there. Unfortunately, I had to work, but man,
it was good.
Everybody on social talk about it. I'm like, oh man, that would be a fun show to check out.
Yeah, and you know what? I hope maybe so I was comparing to, let's say, 559 Fights, how they do their production and their setup and the building that they have. Obviously, it's a bit bigger than, I think it's a bit bigger than the hall that we were in for Tachi.
It has to be. It's the Visalia Convention Center. It's going to be.
Yeah, it's better. I'll say that. The production and stuff like that. I think they could definitely work on that going forward. Like, 559, you get a whole walkout, you get your stage, and the setup's pretty legit at 559, I must say. But this one, just being there, I was already happy, so it was fine. But yeah, man, those two fights are the most memorable. I kind of zoned out on the last fight because let's face it, I was only there to see
those two fights
and Art's fight. Yeah, and they were back to back, so it was cool. But
AJ's just chimed in, actually. Thank you guys. It was truly a blessing.
Yeah, man. Congrats. That was crazy. You definitely got the job done, and that. I love both of you guys. I love Kael as well. He's such a sweetheart.
Mm-hmm.
And he was really cool about it too after. But man, good job. You can tell all your hard work is paying off for sure. And another first round knockout for you. What do you know?
I want to know, did they remotely talk about having another event there?
I did not hear if they did.
Promote it, so I'm curious.
Didn't hear a word they said anyway, because audio, weather's getting crazy outside. Hear things knocking over. No, so I didn't hear anything about that, although I was just having a good time with my friends anyway. So, but yeah, I don't know. I would like to go to more. Obviously, I think, I had a great time. Then you get a whole casino there when you're done. Won $300 on a slot off of $1. So
you get $20.
Made my night. But yeah, great fights. It was really cool to be there. I don't know when the next one is. I will try to go to them more often. And hopefully maybe we can get more fighters that are involved in that on this show, and we can keep up with them also. Yep. Or who knows, maybe eventually you get these 559 fighters that eventually are ready to go pro and make their debut there.
I feel like that's going to be the route, is the local fighters from 559. They'll make their way onto that.
Well, that's great then. I forgot what I was going to say. A lot of debuters, though. There's a lot of debuters. So I like that. That's cool. It's like, you could get thrown into Bellator, UFC or something like that, and you're, pretty vulnerable as a debuter, against all these fighters in that pool that you have here, I think. And even locally, it's pretty cool to get that chance to be matched up with someone who is a debuter also, rather than going up a guy that has like 8 fights already, and being the bottom. So that's cool. I'm excited to see what happens next for them. But yeah, great fights. Is well worth it. I would like to go back. So, I'll keep an eye on their schedule and see where they're at.
That's for sure. Because, I mean, for us here in Central California, like Tachi Palace. We've talked about it before in the past. Like, it was the spot. That's where so many fighters have come through that people know. Like, prime example, Nate Diaz.
Yeah.
He's fought here. People wouldn't even think that he's fought here because they just know him as a UFC fighter. No, like, he had to start somewhere, and it was here.
Somewhere. Yeah, exactly.
So I'm glad that we are finally getting pro fights back in, and we can start seeing these guys really develop their careers and start to flourish and make a big name for themselves while representing the Central Valley.
Yeah, I totally forgot out there. You don't have cell service.
It's not too good. It's better than Porterville. Porterville, when they would have fights, there was no service whatsoever. So I couldn't even like send out something on social being like, yeah, we're here, you know.
Right. So like, I was like, I'm not going to I was going to try to send you some video, but I'm like, screw it. We'll just talk about it. Did you watch it on Fight Pass at all? Do you have
I did not watch it on Fight Pass, but everybody that I know on social media was all there except me. So that's how I saw it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's how I got to check it out.
Yeah. Pretty cool though. The cage was bigger than I thought. That was pretty nice. I think I know back in the day, Tachi had this little tiny little hexagon.
They had a smaller cage. Smallest cage to me, still Porterville.
Okay. Yeah. Makes sense.
Warriors cage had the smallest cage. It was my buddy Mott's. Shout out to Mott's. Would say that it was like fighting a shot glass.
I agree. This one was a good size. This one was decent.
Bigger.
Yeah, this one was decent. So that was cool. I wish I wish the place in general was a bit bigger. But we'll see. I don't know if they plan on keeping it out there or what they're doing. There's a lot of construction going on out there. The place has changed so much since I've been there. I don't even know. Like, I could get lost so easily.
Girl, how did I end up at the movie theater?
There's a movie theater.
So. Crazy. I still haven't had a chance to go out there, but I'm going to try because I love.
If anything, they had a pretty good restaurant we ate at that was inside of there. And then gamble here and there is kind of fun. I haven't done that in forever. Good thing we won. So,
well, besides that was Friday night. Yesterday there was Bellator, there was UFC, everything was going on. So let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to start with UFC. We had Derek Lewis versus Sergey Spivak.
Did you catch this fight?
No, but 3 minutes later, it was over. So I saw that Derek lost by submission. Dana White, because it was his third loss. From what I had seen of the presser afterwards, Dana White is like, Derek Lewis ain't going anywhere.
Well, which is great. Great.
Yeah. There's a little bit of job security for at least one more fight.
Yeah, and he literally did get manhandled. It was crazy to see him get thrown around like that. I don't know what Derek Lewis needs to do. He's had a tough go lately.
That was his third loss in a row.
Well, they're okay. You could totally come back from that. 3, sure. We'll see what happens. But yeah, it's good to know that Dana doesn't have any plans for him to, get released or anything like that. Well, we'll see. He looked in really good shape though, for what it was. Looks like he slimmed down quite a bit.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah. But Sergey Spivak just threw him around like 3 or 4 takedowns in like, I don't know, 20 seconds. Like, get up, back down. Get up, back down.
He's like, I got stuff to do. I got to go.
Yeah, man, that sucked to see that because, of course, everyone's waiting to see Derek Lewis get that knockout again. But maybe next time. I don't know. Now,
were there any other fights on that card that stood out to you?
Not really, to be honest. The fight card was all right. I think the spy card needed to happen, but as you can see, there's a lot of decisions there.
A lot of decisions.
Yeah. So no, it was a little disappointing, but that's okay.
All right, then you know what? That was the most exciting fight, of course, because we love Derek Lewis on this show. But we're going to go ahead and move on to the following, which is we still got this next week. Actually, I take that back as I do my calculations in my head. UFC 284, Makhachev versus Volkanovski. That's going to be a crazy fight because I think Makhachev feels like he's top dog right now, but then you have Volkanovski who's like,
I don't know, man.
Don't sleep on me. Y'all forgot. So
right, no, of course. This will be very interesting. Man, and their records are very similar too. How crazy is that?
Yeah, Volkanovski only has 2 more fights compared to Makhachev.
So now this is going to be at 155.
It's a lightweight bout, so yeah, lightweight title bout.
Lightweight. Yes. Okay, gotcha. So Volkanovski is coming up for this one, which is all right. Yeah, so that should be very interesting. What's crazy is that you're going to see one of these guys lose. You know what I mean? That's the craziest part because not only are like, what are they going to do? But it's like, holy shit, one of these guys at the end is going to lose.
You know what? I'll call it now. Draw. Boom.
Oh gosh, that would be terrible.
Nobody loses.
Happen again.
That would suck.
I mean, if Volkanovski loses, he still has a belt. You know, Makhachev loses, he loses his belt. So I think the more pressure is on Islam. You know.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right.
So
let's see. We also got Yair Rodriguez versus Josh Emmett.
Okay.
For the featherweight interim title belt.
Interesting. That is interesting, actually.
Rodriguez has been on a tear lately, so
yeah. Emmett. Emmett. I think everyone forgets about him. I always forget about him, and then he'll pop up on a fight card once in a while. I'm like, oh, this guy's still around.
Oh, he's still there. Good for him.
And then he's winning. You know, I'm like, okay, so okay, well deserved, I guess. Yeah, and Yair Rodriguez has been around for a long time, obviously. But man, their records are very close also. So
these are some tight fights, especially with Rodriguez being ranked number 2 and Emmett number 5.
Yeah. Man, I don't know. I think I'm going to pick Josh Emmett.
All right, I'm going Rodriguez on that.
Okay.
Those are the title fights for the card. We have another battle of the big boys with
Justin
Tafa versus Parker Porter.
Yeah, I haven't seen Justin Tafa fight in a while. I think his last one was a knockout. He always seems to get those
up
crazy
and down.
Huh?
He's a heavyweight fighter who likes to bang. To me, he has waves.
Yeah, for sure. But his knockouts are huge when they do. He's also been knocked out pretty bad too. But yeah, as far as
this card isn't more stacked,
it's not.
I'm a little disappointed. Really, I mean, who am I really? But come on, like you have your 2 title fights, and then the card is like, meh.
Yeah, I mean, this is pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's not a good. That's not a good a pay-per-view card. I like the main event, obviously, but why would it not be more stacked? That sucks.
Unfortunately,
for the price of these things nowadays, that sucks.
Exactly. Maybe they should do a price reduction. Come on, Dana White, hook it up. Look out for I know you're not in charge of the.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's not in charge.
I think he could put the pressure on. You know, just saying.
I don't know.
So, anyways, let's go ahead and jump from the UFC to Bellator. And it was the end of an era for some of us because Fedor Emelianenko had his retirement fight. He lost, unfortunately. I mean, he went against Ryan Bader. Bader's doing really well right now, and Fedor is at the end. So
Fedor's been at the end.
Yeah,
he's been at the end. We'll just say that. This fight didn't need to happen.
It didn't. It really didn't.
I didn't want it to happen. I didn't want the last 3 or 4 to happen. Yeah, no, man. I don't know why he would do that. I don't know. I do think maybe he was kind of hanging on because I think Bellator wanted to go to Russia for him, and that never happened. Because all the craziness going on. I don't think anybody wants to go there right now. But maybe that's why it got drug out for so long. I don't know. But it didn't need to happen, that's for sure. I think he's already kind of semi-retired well before that.
Yeah, pretty much. It was just like at the end.
And that's my hero too. I didn't watch the fight. I was watching the UFC ones, and so I knew it was happening, so I read it instead. I was reading the updates, and then I'm like, I didn't want to see that.
I know,
I still haven't seen any.
You don't want to see you know he's going to retire, but you don't want to see him go out there and lose. You'd still like to see him win. Like for me, the Shogun fight. Too. Yeah, usually if a fighter's having a retirement fight, it's like more than likely they're not going to win, and it sucks, but that's how it is.
True, that seems to be the trend when you know it's your last fight and it's announced. That just happened to Shogun.
Yeah.
Everyone knew that was going to be his last fight. That didn't go so well.
Did you see the picture that was taken after the Fedor fight with all the legends that were in
that was amazing. Yeah, it was awesome. I was like, wait. I was like, oh shit.
In that pic.
Oh shit. Yeah, that was good.
You had Mark Coleman. You had Rampage Jackson.
Rampage
Gracie. Just legends.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. I loved to see that. That was really cool to see that.
What got me though is like, man, these were my favorite era of fighters. And I'm like, oh shit, they're all retired.
Yeah, that's true.
I gotta find new fighters to really gravitate to.
Well, I guess
there's plenty of them out there. I just haven't really like. Rampage is top 5 for me. I absolutely loved him because of his personality. His personality is what got me.
Yeah, he's funny.
Exactly. So it's definitely the end.
Oh, Matt Hughes was there too. He was in the back too.
Yeah,
Oh man.
I'm glad he's recovering because he was in a major accident. Like
right, and I'm like, hold on, how did he get there? Can he walk now? I think he could walk a little bit. Not great, but he looked really happy, so that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, tons of people. That was really special though. To have that while he put his gloves down and you got to see all those guys get in there. That was cool.
That was. I completely agree.
Sad. That's so sad.
Yeah, of course. Because we love.
It was already sad. That was special
also
though.
The Lorenz Larkin fight. Did you see the elbow that he landed? Oh my god, that hurt me.
Really?
If I recall correctly, he was tight in the pocket and hit him with an elbow. Dude just went.
Oh gosh! Wow.
Great! I just didn't expect. Came out of nowhere, and I was like, "Oh, okay, that's a good highlight.
That's awesome.
That's gonna look good on your resume."
Yeah.
So that was another highlight of that Bellator card. Yeah, just going back to it, Fedor. Oh, end of an era.
I know it. People are saying that, but I'm like, I already felt that years ago. You know. So.
I agree. But we're gonna move on now to one of your favorite new sports that was developed.
Shut up.
No, I actually more and more watching the stuff. I'm like, you know what? I'm not really the biggest fan. Okay. I think I was when it was like a niche thing and it happened from like it'd be an event and it was like a one time. That's whatever. But now that this is consistent, I'm starting to see the errors in it and the problems with it. And even Anthony Smith, he loves it. But me and you have talked about it. You're not a fan. No, I was a fan. But when I see what it's been doing to some of these people, I'm becoming less and less of a fan.
But it's like, I'm so disappointed. I'm actually really disappointed in Dana White for doing something like this, like putting something on like this and endorsing it. And
you see how Dana White promoted it? He slapped his wife. I mean, I'm just kidding. That's
the ultimate promotion right there. Yeah, no, I don't like it at all. I don't like watching it on my Instagram feed. Unfortunately, it's connected to UFC, so I'm not going to get rid of those pages.
And me and you have talked about that. Like, I do disagree with it because It's not UFC.
I know. Can we just make it a separate thing so we can
thing.
reject it already? You know.
Now, if UFC was putting on like showing jiu-jitsu highlights or Muay Thai highlights, even boxing, I feel like that's okay because those are involved in MMA.
Yeah.
Power Slap is a separate entity. It is only associated to UFC because maybe ownership and because of Dana White being involved. That's it. It should not be promoted on their social.
No. I wish it was completely disconnected from UFC altogether.
Same.
You know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm disappointed in Dana White for that because I always thought he was about protecting yourself and being safe. And, you know, martial arts, you don't just stand there and wait to get hit. You get to protect yourself. You know, you have a chance to not get knocked out. Here, you're literally waiting to get knocked out really bad. And I don't know. I don't think it's cool.
Some of the stuff from the damage that some of these people have encountered.
Yeah, this guy's face
Whoa, I've never seen that before. So after seeing that, I was really kind of freaked out because I've seen, you know, broken bones or even a broken orbital, but never a guy's whole side of his face look like that. It's
not okay. I don't like it. I don't want to see it anymore. And I always look at the comments because I'm like, what do other people think about this? They were on the same page. I'm like, they're like, man, how do I get this garbage off of my feed? I'm like, exactly. I wonder if anyone's even telling Dana that it's not okay, or if the people that he's surrounding himself with are all in on it, or like they love it, you know?
You know, I don't know. I think Dana White likes people keeping it real with him, but then there are sometimes I think Dana White likes to hear his own voice. He likes to hear himself talk.
I just don't know. I don't know. It's dumb. It is so dumb. The whole thing is dumb.
Completely agree.
That sucks. I hope it goes away soon.
Well, we'll see. If the ratings aren't good enough, it might. So don't watch.
Girls doing it too. Ugh. Don't do it.
Yeah. Just start fighting. Just get into MMA. Or you know what? Even one better. I don't know if you even have heard of this. It was called X-Arm.
What's that?
It was arm wrestling.
Yes.
And fighting.
Oh, what?
Yeah, a dude, they're in the arm wrestling position, and they're tied. They're literally tied together, so they can't escape. But a dude had the arm, and he went for an arm bar. It was the weirdest shit ever. And then there were other guys that when they were tied up, they would just start wailing on each other. It was like, I feel like a step above for Power Slap.
Oh.
The craziness of it. I was like, well, it
clearly
never caught on because you've never heard of it.
No, yeah. I think that UFC and MMA have something really great, and I feel like everyone's trying to piggyback on it any way that they can, coming up with new sports, new rules for fighting, when it's like, hey, why can't we just keep it the same? Why do you have to come up with new rules? I don't know. I just don't think anything's going to be bigger than UFC and MMA in general.
I think it's the idea of the next big thing, the next trend.
Well, they're all dumb.
UFC wasn't, when it came out, it was just like Power Slap, essentially. It was a niche thing.
Yes. Yeah.
Not everybody gravitated to it. A lot of people rejected it. But then there were also changes to UFC, which made it safer, essentially, by having the weight classes and becoming...
It was legit. They legitimized it.
Exactly.
It was legit. It made sense. You have, because everyone was doing martial arts in their own, you know, so that alone was legit. Martial arts was legit. You know, they all had their own competitions within themselves. It was legit. It was real. UFC and MMA put it together. That's great. So you have all those legit fighters in their own specialties coming together with this other, you know, sport, and now everyone's trying to come up with something else when it's not slapping someone's not legit. Is that a martial art? I don't think so. You know, it's not. I don't know.
No, I agree. Slapping someone is not a martial art unless you chop them. That's different. You're using the ridge hand. It's different.
Or a palm strike, but that's not going on.
That'd be dope.
Yeah, I don't like it at all. I don't know. I get really like, it's cringy to me to see that people like it. Some people do like it.
I was on that train. I really was. And then when I started to really see the damage that it's caused some of these people,
yeah,
that's when it really shifted my
like,
thinking
no, I
about
don't think
how I
so.
felt about it. And I'm like, no, because it's, when we watch MMA, prime example, like Tim Sylvia versus Frank Mir years ago. Tim Sylvia was put in an armbar by Frank Mir. Frank Mir broke his arm because Sylvia wasn't tapping out, but broke his arm. The fight was over after that. They did not continue the fight. With this, I feel like from what I've observed, if the person can continue, they will continue it, even though the person
I don't know. I haven't watched
injured.
it. I haven't watched it besides
It
clips
seems
of
like
people
it's just too
getting
much.
knocked out completely, just stiff, falling backwards. It's just.
I've seen a few fights where people have gotten stiff, but then the fight was over after that.
Yeah.
And that was Tank Abbott versus John Matua back at UFC 6. I think I'm right. I could be wrong. But John Matua was a martial artist. Tank Abbott, we all know Tank Abbott. Well, I do. I don't know about you. He's still,
I know who he is.
You're a little young.
Yeah.
Starched him. And you know what I mean when I say starched? He punched John Matua, and John Matua went down.
Yeah.
Just
right.
No movement. It was
right.
nuts. But seeing that, the fight was over. But then seeing that in the power slap world, it doesn't seem like you would think they would stop it, but they seem to continue it. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I don't know. I wish more people would speak up about it. Like, what do you like? This is absolute garbage. I wonder if they even look at the comments on social to get a vibe of what people think about it.
I think the TV networks probably do. The TV network.
I hope so. I hope they never televise it. I hope it never becomes big. It's just
it is being televised. I think people are curious about it, but the curiosity will go away.
I hope they complain. I don't want it. It's dumb. It makes everything look so bad that's been created so far. Like, people worked so hard to get MMA legitimized and legalized.
Yeah.
In all the states, and now the same people that brought that to light are endorsing this. I don't know. This is more barbaric than MMA, that's for sure.
And we will see how that goes, but that's how we feel about that. And that's going to do it for us this week on the MMA Mainstream Podcast. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you guys next time.